These words from Rumi hold a secret that could change the way you see your life. If you let them reach you, by the end of this journey you will not return the same. Right now, in this very moment, your mind is probably doing what it always does: racing, planning, worrying, remembering. It's like a wild horse that never stops running, even when there's nowhere to go. But what if I told you that the very thing you think is protecting you, your endless thinking, is actually the cage that keeps you from truly living? What does Rumi mean here? At first, the words seem like a riddle. How can you be mindful without your mind? It's like telling someone to see without their eyes or walk without their legs. But look deeper. Rumi isn't telling you to destroy your mind. He's inviting you to step outside the small room of thoughts you've been living in your whole life. Think of it this way. Your mind is like a snow globe. When you're constantly shaking it, thinking, analyzing, judging, the snow swirls around and you can't see clearly. But when you stop shaking it, when you let go, the snow settles, and suddenly you can see the whole beautiful scene that was always there, waiting. This isn't about becoming empty or blank. It's about discovering that beneath the noise of your thoughts, there's a different kind of knowing. A knowing that doesn't need words. Like how a tree knows how to grow toward the sun, or how your heart knows how to beat without you telling it to. Here's what nobody tells you about thinking. It's addictive. Your mind has convinced you that if you just think hard enough, long enough, smart enough, you'll solve everything, you'll be safe, you'll be ready. But notice something strange. The more you think, the more problems appear. It's like trying to smooth out wrinkles in water. The more you try, the more ripples you create. Every night you lie in bed, and your mind becomes a courtroom where you're both the prosecutor and the defendant. You replay conversations from 5 years ago, defending yourself against accusations nobody's making anymore. You rehearse arguments for fights that will never happen. You solve problems that don't exist yet. And all the while, life, real life, is happening right outside this mental theater you've built. Rumi saw this 800 years ago. He watched people torture themselves with thoughts about the past they couldn't change, and futures that never arrived the way they imagined. And he discovered something revolutionary. The moment you stop feeding the thinking machine, something else wakes up. Something that's been waiting patiently beneath all that noise. In silence, there is eloquence, Rumi once said. This is the paradox that breaks most people's understanding. We've been taught that intelligence means thinking more, analyzing better, figuring things out faster. But what if the deepest intelligence isn't in thinking at all? What if it's in the space between thoughts? Consider the musician who plays the most beautiful melody. The magic isn't just in the notes. It's in the silences between them. Without those pauses, there's no music, just noise. Your mind is the same. Without the spaces of non-thinking, there's no wisdom, just mental chatter. When you let go of your mind, you're not becoming stupid or careless. You're like an archer who draws the bow back. The letting go is what sends the arrow flying. The release is where the power is. But we're so afraid of that release. We hold our mental bow drawn tight all day, every day, until our arms shake with exhaustion, wondering why we never hit the target. Here's where it gets beautiful. When you finally stop thinking, you don't disappear. Instead, something extraordinary happens. You become aware of awareness itself. It's like you've been so busy watching movies on a screen that you forgot there was a screen there at all. The screen doesn't care if it's showing a comedy or a tragedy. It remains untouched, clear, present. This is what Rumi means by be mindful. Not mindful in the way of cataloging every thought and feeling like you're taking inventory, but mindful like a mountain is mindful, completely present, unshakable, witnessing the clouds pass by without becoming the weather. Your thoughts are like birds flying across the sky of your consciousness. You can watch them come and go without building a nest for each one. You don't have to follow every bird to see where it's going. You can just be the sky, vast, open, accepting everything but holding on to nothing. Today, we live in a world that Rumi couldn't have imagined, yet his words are more relevant than ever. Your phone buzzes with notifications designed to hijack your thinking. Social media feeds you an endless stream of other people's thoughts to think about. News cycles spin your mind into anxiety about things happening thousands of miles away that you can't control. You wake up and immediately your mind starts its routine. What do I need to do today? What did I forget yesterday? What might go wrong? What are others thinking about me? It's like having a radio in your head that never stops broadcasting, and you've forgotten that you have the power to turn it off. The meditation apps on your phone promise peace, but even they become another thing to think about. Am I meditating correctly? Why can't I stop thinking about not thinking? The very tools meant to quiet your mind become more food for thought. It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline labeled water. But here's the secret door Rumi is showing you. You don't have to fight your thoughts. Fighting them is just more thinking. It's like trying to calm water by slapping it. Instead, you simply stop participating. You become like snow melting in spring, not forcing anything, just allowing your frozen thoughts to return to their fluid, natural state. When you truly let go, time changes. A moment expands like a flower opening. Colors become more vivid, not because they've changed, but because you're finally present enough to see them. Food tastes different when you're not thinking about the next bite while chewing this one. Music touches you deeper when you're not analyzing it or remembering other songs. This isn't some mystical state reserved for monks in mountains. This is your birthright. Before you learn to think in words, before you learn to judge and compare and analyze, you knew this state. Watch a baby looking at a bubble. They're not thinking about surface tension or the philosophy of temporary beauty. They're just completely there, in wonder. It takes tremendous courage to stop thinking. Your mind will tell you it's dangerous. It will say you'll miss something important, fall behind, become vulnerable. But notice, these are just more thoughts, aren't they? The mind using fear to keep itself in charge, like a dictator warning about the chaos that will come if they lose power. But what actually happens when you stop? At first, it might feel like falling. Your mind has been your constant companion, your narrator, your supposed protector. Without its constant commentary, you might feel naked, exposed, but keep falling. Because what you're falling into isn't emptiness. It's fullness. It's life without the mental middleman. You discover that you can walk without mentally instructing each step. You can listen to someone without preparing your response while they're still talking. You can watch a sunset without turning it into a metaphor or a memory or an Instagram post. You can just be with what is. When you master this art of letting go and being mindful, problems don't disappear, but your relationship with them transforms completely. It's like the difference between being in the storm and watching the storm from a safe place. The storm might rage, but you're not swept away by it. Decisions become clearer because they come from a deeper place than thought. You know what to do, the way a plant knows to turn toward light, not through analysis, but through a felt sense of rightness. Creativity flows because you're not damming it up with judgments and second-guessing. Love deepens because you're actually present with people instead of with your thoughts about them. This is what happens when you finally stop thinking. You start living. Not the half-life of mental simulation, but real, raw, immediate life. Like the difference between reading about water and diving into the ocean. But how do you actually do this? Rumi gives us the key. Let go first, then be mindful. Not the other way around. Most people try to be mindful while still gripping tightly to their thoughts. That's like trying to see clearly while pressing your face against the window. Start small, just for one breath. Let go. Don't think about breathing. Just breathe. Feel the air moving without naming it air or breathing. For one moment, look at something without knowing what it is. See color before you see blue. Hear sound before you hear music or noise. These gaps in thinking are like clearings in a dense forest. At first, they're tiny, but each time you practice, they grow. Eventually, you realize you can live in these clearings. You can think when thinking is needed, like using a tool when there's work to do. But you don't have to carry the tool everywhere, gripping it so tight your hands forget what it feels like to be empty. This is Rumi's gift across 8 centuries, the recognition that your true nature isn't the thinker, but the awareness in which thoughts arise and pass away. You're not the clouds, you're the sky. You're not the waves, you're the ocean. And when you remember this, everything changes while nothing changes. The world remains exactly as it is, but you see it new. Problems still arise, but you don't become them. Thoughts still come, but they don't own you. You discover what Rumi knew, that letting go of your mind doesn't make you lose your mind. It helps you find your soul. So remember, Rumi whispers through time, let go of your mind and then be mindful. Not just words, but a key, waiting for you to use. The door has always been unlocked. You've just been thinking too hard to notice. What happens when you finally stop thinking? You discover that you are what happens. You are the happening itself. The dance between letting go and awareness, the eternal play of consciousness discovering itself again and again. In this very moment, as these words end, you have a choice. You can think about what you've heard, analyze it, file it away with all your other thoughts, or you can stop. Right now, let go of your mind, and in that letting go, be mindful of what remains. Be mindful of what you truly are when all the thinking stops. The invitation is eternal. The moment is now. The only question is, are you brave enough to accept it?